This video is brought to you by Misty Mountain Gaming. Misty Mountain Gaming offers premium tabletop role-playing game products and accessories to last a lifetime. Join us and let the journey begin at www.mistymountaingaming.com. Misty Mountain Gaming, where dice are life. Let's get into our first guest of the evening. She is one of the stars of the new series, Davey and Jonesy's Locker, which came out last Friday on Hulu in the States and on Prime Video in Canada. Please welcome to the program, Jaelynn Thora Brooks.
Hello. How are you guys?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good.
That's
Just
good.
had
You having a
Easter
good
dinner.
Friday?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Had Easter dinner. I got lots of ham in me, so I can't
There we go.
complain.
That's what we like to hear. We like to hear is our guests are happy and full of ham. That's
Full of ham. It was actually a requirement. You
Yeah.
guys sent me the email before.
yeah.
Yeah,
See,
well-
she read the
At
mission
least.
statement, Green. There we go.
Well, hey, some
Can't trust
people
everybody.
like to get hammed up. Not everybody does.
That's true. And some people like to ham it up, like on this show, Davey and Jonesy's Locker.
Yeah.
So,
Nice segue.
yes,
There we
you
go.
go. So, Jaelynn, for people who haven't had a chance to check out the show, what is it all about?
I've had lots of practice summarizing the show. I shouldn't have said that in case it's bad.
I've
So-
watched all the practice, so yes, I agree with that. You've done a number of interviews,
Hey.
or you've had this thrown at you. I think you're ready for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, usually I have Veronica to just dump in on her. We do a look, it'll be like, oh, yeah, Veronica, what is that about? Anyway, okay. So two teenage girls, they are very codependent. They're like best friends, but they're so codependent, they have a little bit of trouble making friends with other people their age or kind of fitting in at their high school in general, and they don't like it. They think they call everyone sheep. They think everyone's boring. They think that they're the only two interesting people they've ever met. But lucky for them, they kind of have an out of that situation when their science teacher accidentally puts a portal in their locker and they end up getting stuck in the multiverse, traveling to different versions of their high school, which is like kind of an L to leave and have to just relive, the same place you were trying to leave. But at least it's a little more interesting this time.
Yeah, no, definitely,
Yeah.
I'd say so. Now, before we get into more about it, the episode, I think it's episode 2, there's a scene where Schneider is basically saying, you guys have a bunch of questions. You're like, well, about 1 million of them. And then you start throwing all the questions at him. And I rewound it a couple of times because I heard something. I was like, I want to make sure I heard it right. Where basically one of your questions is, where did you get that sandwich? Why is it on a plate? I know that freaky, you didn't get it from the cafeteria. That specific question was like, so hearing that, I got to ask, because I know you had to do some improvising in the chemistry reads and stuff like that. Was there moments to improvise like in moments like that?
Yes, they were so like Ebony, our showrunner, Allison Bruce, our directors, like they were so gracious with giving us space to play around and do whatever we want. And eventually it just got to the point that Veronica and I were just trying to make each other laugh. Like it was
Yeah.
like, this is no longer performance. We've been doing this every day for 5-6 weeks. Like we're going nuts. And it kind of turned into this really lovely game that I think actually played into the chemistry a lot between the two of us. And I was actually surprised, like watching it, like seeing certain takes or certain lines that made the cut because I just remember like dying. Like that is something I'm still working on. Acting beside like one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life, like holding it together when she's just doing her thing. It's difficult. It's difficult.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. I got to imagine too, like you were saying that you guys were, doing this every day for the weeks long shoot that you guys were working on. When you get to episode 9 and you're stuck in that school, the storyline of being stuck on the island, I got to imagine that must have been like, what are you guys taking notes when we're what we've been doing here? Like what's going on?
Yeah, I actually, that's so funny you say that. I just found a video on my phone of when we were shooting that episode, and it's Veronica and I, and they've given us like a 5-minute break while they're changing the shots, and we had like run as far away from the school as possible, and we're like hiding under these like giant coats that they give us, and it was just like so like, and we look crazy, right? It's the makeup when we're all dehydrated and we haven't eaten, and it's like, it's really something.
Oh man, yeah. You said you did that. I've heard you did that a few times. And when they did find you, you pretended to sleep.
Yes. And then they wake us. There's a video I have to post at some point, and Ago comes over, one of our ADs, and is like, I need to take you back, and we go, oh, but we're sleeping. You're supposed to say, oh, they're sleeping. Everybody, come outside, take a picture. They're sleeping, and he's just like done, like not. We're adult women. Like it's not cute. It's not funny.
Man,
There
yeah,
are people
so
waiting for us on set.
the delirium was real in that episode, is basically what you're telling us. Yeah.
It was so real, and it doesn't help when you eat a full can or two of beans. That really
A can or
it
two.
adds to it. A can or two. I ate a lot of beans with my nose. Well, I don't think that's a spoiler, but I ate a can of beans with my bare hands, nonetheless. So
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
gonna say I think a can or two might be underselling it. The amount of beans in that episode, I was like, I'm not. To be fair, Jaelynn, I'm not a big bean person.
okay.
My wife loves beans, thinks they're great. I do not. I will eat them occasionally, but like as I'm watching this episode, I'm like, I don't know as an actor if I could have handled,
That much beans.
no,
Yeah.
even pretending. Even doing like, if they had a spit bucket, the whole I don't know. I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, and if you've seen the shot with the whole, just think about the smell in the room too. I want to remind you of that. Like it just smells like bean. It's like in all. Oh, yeah.
Did you like beans like before you did this scene at all? Like, or is it like, and you have PTSD with them now, or you just muddled through it?
I had beans for the first time since we filmed that yesterday.
Oh.
And it was I had a few flashbacks, a little bit of PTSD, but I made it through. But I needed a break. Like I knew after that I was like, I can't. And watching it, every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, because they have that awful scene where I'm like, you get the close-ups and like smacking it's coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, I looked away at those points. I couldn't handle that. You were a brave soul to go through that, definitely.
And I appreciate you looking away, because thinking about the fact that that video is accessible to anyone, anywhere on the planet is a little terrifying, but oh well.
Oh my God. Now, you mentioned Veronica, of course, your partner in crime on this. We had Veronica on what, like probably 6 or 7 years ago?
It's been that long?
No way.
I think it's something like that. Yeah, it was basically when she did her first appearance on What We Do in the Shadows. And at that time, she was still living in Toronto. And in my neighborhood, there was the Comedy Bar, and there was a Bad Dog Theater, and she'd run up and down the street to get to both all the time so she could do sets and stuff. So now, of course, she's running around in New York. But yeah, back then, we knew that she was hilarious. And, you mentioned working off her. That must have been like, kind of like, I know, like an education on just kind of manic comedy.
Oh, big time. I can't even... one of our co-stars, Nico, who plays Emil, said this the other day, and I think that I was like, that's a perfect way to say it. Is we showed up to set, and Veronica really set the tone for the show. Like it was really like, this is someone who is it's this world. She'd made this world that was so easy for us to step into and improvise in, and like she set the tone. And going forward and watching her on set and the way that she conducted herself and the freedom she had was like, it was freeing for ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When but to that point though, like looking at the rest of the cast, like everybody has their moments to shine, and and throughout the show, like, was it as difficult as I could imagine it would be? In the, like, obviously doing comedy and whatnot, like, was it hard not to laugh like every single take when people like with all this talent around you?
Absolutely. Yes, it was actually the worst because there's not too many scenes in the show where all of us are in one room together. Like it was very rare. And so those days we would go crazy, because the problem would be, it's like Veronica makes a joke that is so not funny, it's hilarious, and then Nico starts laughing first, and then everyone starts laughing because Nico and Veronica are laughing, and it just like, it never ends, right? It starts this like train of everybody, and then you have to not only calm yourself down, it doesn't matter if you can do it to yourself, because then you have to make sure these other 6-7 people are like on the same page too. So
oh man, so it's like the wave, it just keeps going round and round. That's crazy.
Yes.
The giggle loops are a real thing. I've experienced them a few times, and to your point, Jaelynn, just as you've calmed down, like the joke is so dead Like nobody is even laughing anymore other than to laugh at other people laughing. And it loops and it loops. I remember being in one that lasted probably about 12 minutes and it was ridiculous.
They're dangerous. They're dangerous.
That was the one at Hogan's Chicken, right?
Yes.
I was there for that one.
Now.
Yeah, see,
it must
still
be
laughing.
you're laughing right now.
And it was a lame joke that started. I know because I made it, and so
these are the things that happen.
Comedy.
That is
the comedy.
Oh, totally. Yeah. We got an email in from Dwayne P. that writes, "Hey geeks, a big fan of Jaelynn's. Happy Easter and long live ham." Right, Mr. Green? Ham and bacon go together.
Yes, on the same plate even. I am a full all pig.
There we go. And Dwayne,
absolutely.
I will save your review of Godzilla Kong for when we review it in the next segment. But I will get back to it, Dwayne. But yes. Of course, with this show, like it's not just you and Veronica. The entire cast is great. Of course, a lot of great young cast in there. Some of them their first time. So I know this was your first TV show. But then like, I don't know what it is. Something happened about a year and a half ago. And now Dan Byrne is like the character actor in every show made in Canada.
Dan Byrne don't even get me started. I turn on my television. Dan Byrne is in every single Canadian TV show that has been made in the past 5 years. I was watching like Gen V the other day. Oh, there's Dan with a principal role that he's never talked about and I did not know. Like he's in everything. Oh, Ginny and Georgia. Oh, who's that?
Yep.
There's Dan Byrne. Like it's insane.
And one more time just wrapped up. Canadian show one more time. So it's like as soon as that one ends, Davey and Jonesy starts airing, and like it's like, oh, okay, he's just always there's like a rule that he has to be somewhere in the media. Yeah.
365 Dan. That's it.
Dan, like that is the career that I need. This like he's in everything. Oh, where's Dan? Oh, I'm watching Priscilla in the theater. Hello, Dan Byrne. Like, he's like
who is he in Priscilla? Because I saw that. Who is he in Priscilla?
He's in Elvis's crew of buddies, and actually Rodrigo, who is also in our show and plays the math teacher / werewolf, he is also in that, which is hilarious because they're really good friends and they play like Elvis's guy, like crew, cool guy. I wear suits and I smoke, like which knowing Dan was hilarious to watch him do that. Yeah, totally.
My God. And then of course you got somebody like Ebony Rosen as the creator of the show. I think we had her on back for New Eden when that dropped. And so it seems like she just has a history of like, now, like, I'm just going to bring out super funny shows. Because,
yes.
That's it.
I love New Eden. I thought New Eden was amazing. Oh my gosh. That show makes me laugh.
Well, totally.
But I'm still working on not being intimidated by Ebony. I don't think she knows that. But I just I have so much respect for her. And I think she's someone who's like so funny, so naturally that it's like, I don't even know how to I can't even play this. You know what I mean? I can't even get to the banter level because you're so hilarious that I'm just like, just chuckle.
So you just you become a spectator instead of someone getting in on it.
Yeah, I'm very in awe of her.
Well, that's hey, we've all been there. There's always those people that you meet and they're like that, but. Jaelynn, I got to ask you a very serious question right now. Something as I was getting ready for this, I knew I had to ask you this. Which universe would you personally like to visit from the show?
Great question. I've also had a lot of practice with this question, so I have now crafted my final answer.
Okay.
So this is your inside the actor's studio answer to this, right?
Yes, this is my and also this isn't even for the sake of entertainment or the show. This is very selfish. This is me going into. Is that true? This is me going into the portal.
Yeah. Yes, you, Jaelynn.
Not Jonesy. No. Okay. I would like to go into a world where all of my favorite fictional characters are there, but as the character, not as the actor, so that I can meet all my favorite characters from shows and books and movies as that person. That's what I'd like.
Okay, so for example, in this world you would go to, there'd be not Keanu Reeves but John Wick as an example, and that's who you would get to meet, right?
Yes,
or but also multiples, right? So you go there and it's oh, there's Katniss Everdeen, but there's Mystique over there too.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And they're all there. They don't know each
That
other. Like,
that could be, yeah, that could be, wow. I never thought of that
Babadook.
as,
Like,
That really
yeah.
beats Mr. Green's answer to the question, which is just a place where it's just all bacon and ham. So
I
it's
still think I think it's still reasonable. I'm
no.
just
We
saying.
talked about the smell of the beans, right? Think about the
Yes.
smell of just bacon and ham
Oh,
everywhere. It would be okay at first,
yeah,
but then
yeah.
there's a turn, my friend. There is
yeah,
a
but
turn.
you're also forgetting in my version of this, the architecture is also bacon and ham, so it's edible everywhere. Everything is edible.
Oh
Oh
my
no.
God.
But you know
You
what?
would
If it's
not
Davey and
last.
Jonesy's,
Yeah, you would not last 5 days
if
there, Green. You would just die of a coronary.
What a
they'll
way to
get you out of
go!
there. It'll be like 30 minutes. You're fine.
No, what a way to go! This would be amazing. It's much like you, Jaelynn, with your universe. I think this would be like the perfect universe. This is heaven. Bacon
Yeah.
and ham everywhere. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There you go. While Green thinks about that,
Oh.
I got to ask you, when it comes to your high school experience, would Davey and Jonesy, would they have considered you a sheep?
I don't think so. I
No?
don't think so. I think I might be on the weird borders where like Emil is, where they like Emil. He's still not, I don't think anyone's going to be as close to them as they are to each other, but like they like him at least. I
Right.
wasn't really like I didn't really do the high school thing. I was there, but I did a lot of theater and stuff outside of school, which when I think back to high school, that's what I think about. I think about I went
Ah,
to like a theater program out. I didn't go to an art school or anything, so it was all at like a studio outside of school. So like that when I remember high school, that's very much my experience, less so like the actual being at the school.
okay.
And
Okay. So
I don't think I
would you say for high school, did they consider you mysterious? Did you have like a cool level like Alexis?
I said I did theater. I just said that I did a theater program outside of school that I liked more than actual school. So no. And I would wear like leggings and high-heeled boots. Like it
Hey,
was
come on,
very
that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
not the way I did it. Oh, certainly
No.
not the way I did it. But the worst part is I thought it was cool, which makes it not cool. Do you know what I
We
mean? Like I was like,
Everybody in high school thought what we all wore was the coolest thing ever. And then you look back at those. I don't know about you, Jaelynn, but I've looked back at some old photos and I'm just like, ooh, that was a choice. Yeah.
what is going on? And I always had like a bun on the very, very top of my head. And that was the only way that I would wear them. Do you know what I mean? You're in high school and you decide you're like, oh, this is the thing. And then you
This is the
only do
look.
that for
Yeah.
4 years. Yeah. It was high-heeled boots and a bun on top of my head.
There
I
you
had
go.
I had two haircuts. I had the big skater boy swoop for a long time, and then I had
Yep.
long hair, like just a full long hair. That was it. Those were my two. And I look back at some of those photos. I'm like, no.
Did you do a ponytail?
Because I kept it like shoulder length, or like just below the
Okay.
ears. So it was a lot.
Okay.
Actually, it was a lot of me wearing just a baseball hat like this a lot of times, except for when I was in class. Make sure it was long enough to go behind my ears. So I always had that like, that flat to the head.
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah.
And some little pieces in the front, just so everyone knew that there was some hair under there.
Yeah, it was like, and then you'd have the little wing curls underneath, and yeah,
There you
it
go.
was,
I saw a lot of that. I saw a
yeah,
lot of that in high school.
There you
yeah.
go. And
High school
automatically,
was
when you
rough.
saw that, you thought, that's pretty cool. Totally.
That's pretty cool.
Back
Yeah, I
then,
was like, I gotta
that
get
was
rid
the
of this
highlight.
bun.
Yeah,
I gotta get rid of this bun. Get onto that.
Oh my gosh. So
I have it.
go ahead. You were saying?
It's just now I have an image of myself with like the boy
Right.
haircut.
No.
It is very powerful.
I think you could pull
Very
it off.
powerful.
I do think you
Thank
could pull
you.
it off. Totally.
Thank you so
Now,
much.
of course, this show, the first episode, premiered at the Toronto Comic Con,
Mhm.
which is where I got to see it. And I actually had a
Yes.
quick exchange with you, and you're like,
I know
oh,
in this line.
yeah, the slide of all these. It was hilarious because it was a bunch of like, young people really excited about the show, and then here's 43 guys. Like, I swear I'm not creepy walking through the.
Listen, it was better than the grandfather. Clearly, he was in his 70s. He said, "I said, do you like the show?" And he said, eh. why are you here? Like, I was like, you did not have to come. And why are you telling me that?
Oh my God, my God. Yeah, Rodrigo was the moderator for it. Was that your first experience with something like that, having a panel at a convention?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I just got out of theater. I was in theater school and I got cast in this. Like,
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm figuring it out as I go.
Well,
That's for sure.
no, that's honestly, I think you're doing great, and just
Thank you.
a note about the honest truth telling of for your grandpa at the con. Cons are
Mm.
notorious. If you next one you go to, you'll notice it again. I swear to you, there's a notorious level of honesty that burgeons
Mm.
on like sadism in how people
Yeah.
react to your thing. Because there'll
Okay.
be a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I really loved it," and blah blah. And then it's like, and like you
Yeah.
said, it's like, "Oh, what'd you think?" And it's like, it was all right. It was, I don't know
Huh.
why you did. And you're like, just lie, bro, or just don't, or like, don't go in the line.
Yeah, the going in
But
the line if you just thought I was that's kind of
Right.
weird. But you
which is
go.
interesting. But at the same time, it was kind of comforting to be like, well, that's actually, this show was not for you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if
Right.
Yeah.
you liked it, you 80-year-old like white grandpa, like maybe that's probably a good thing that we've done something right. Like, if this appealed to you, then maybe the humor is not what we thought it was. You know what I mean?
Oh my
Or
God.
he's
No,
super
totally.
hip, like he's just like the really coolest dude ever. You never know.
Yeah.
You never
Yeah.
know. That's I'm getting up there in age now. I'm aging out of some categories, but I will admit, as Andrew knows, I have a weakness for high school entertainment.
Mm, yeah.
Anything based in a high school, I just find infinitely fascinating. Same thing with like surfer movies or like surfer stories.
Ooh.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why. There's something about the lifestyle I find infinitely fascinating. High school, I think it's because I didn't hate high school. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. So I kind of
So you're
have
not
like,
like,
yeah, I don't have like PTSD and bad memories. Like we have some friends, me and Andrew have some friends, and we talk to them, and they're like, and it's like, oh, let
They
me
talk about it like Nom.
laundry
Their
list.
eyes glaze over and they're like, seen some shit.
Yeah,
oh,
So,
boy.
it's bad.
I mean, understandable.
Yeah, no, totally. My
Especially for
God.
like small town Canadians or people, you know what I mean? Like
there
Ontario
is there
crew and
is a
stuff.
trend there. There is a trend,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
A
especially
God.
with
lot
the
of,
artsier folks. That's like you said, you didn't go to a school that had an arts program. Like my high school did, and so that was cool. Like we could do stuff, right? And it was like normal. Like nobody said anything or whatever. But you hear the stories, you're out in the middle of nowhere and they're like, you like drama?
Yeah, yeah. Green's
boo-hoo.
actually underselling it. He went to a high school that was
Uh,
kind of like the Fame School, the way the people acted there. There's people singing down the hallways and shit.
there was,
Your
it
What
high
was
school
school?
was the
ridiculous.
theater high
What
school.
school is this? Am I
I
allowed to
went,
ask?
yeah, no, it's fine. I went to Eastdale, which is out in Oshawa in Durham region. And
Oh.
they just had, they like we put on famously for us we put on like a $12,000 Wizard of Oz high school show. Yeah, they spent $12,000 on the production budget for a high school.
That that they got from where? Like
I think it
whose
But
was. I think the
parents?
school was a front. I really
yeah,
do.
they actually built over the band pit because we had a big auditorium that could sit like 800 people or something. They had a band pit that they built over top of for the Yellow Brick Road scene. They and the band was underneath it, like as if they were in the Oscars or something. It was very like when I look back on it, to his point, it is a bit crazy. But when you see some of the video, you're like, no, that's high school. That is,
So high. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the wobbling walls and things
Oh
that,
yeah. You
and that,
can't pay 12K for adult actors. You still stuck
no.
with the fucking girl.
Oh, totally. All right, God. Now, before we wrap things up here, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about because this is something that's come up multiple times in interviews, but it's never really been elaborated on. Why does Veronica have such a huge problem with your iPad?
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this up because I think I don't know if we've done an interview yet where my iPad is not talked about. And I'm not like I was carrying it around. Like I had it with me at most times. But like my script was on it. Veronica had sides. I had my script on my iPad. maybe it's like a thing where, you know, when like kids grow up when their parents are always on the phone and then they resent the phone because it's like mommy's not looking at me, mommy is I don't know if that I'm just on the iPad too much and it was taking attention away from her. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe she was jealous because she didn't have one.
Maybe.
I don't know, but she doesn't like it.
She brings it up all the time, and it's sort of like, but never really goes into why she hates it. She just does, you know.
I think it's just because I was coming right out of theater school, right? That I was like, so like, I'm going to know all my lines and like, I need to do all this work. So I was like, I did have it and I did look at it like enough for sure. But I think that I would definitely, something that I learned from her also, especially with the tone of the show and the freedom we had for improv is like, I think if I like had less of an attachment to my script on my iPad, like there's some benefit to that I got to see from watching her. So confident in herself and you know what I mean? Just like trusting that she knows what she's doing and like the freedom that you get from that is amazing. Some of my favorite line in the show is improvised, and it's when we're sitting in the office in the first episode and she says, we're gonna have to separate you, and Veronica says, did you say separate or did you say pizza party? God.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Definitely
love
some
that
great
line.
lines there. Definitely
Well,
some
and
great lines.
that's one of the things I love about the show is like that division from reality that your characters have a lot of times where it's just like you hear the things like when
yeah, they're the
Schneider's
perfect characters to be jumping from dimension to dimension because in their own they feel out of place. So.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Schneider's giving you guys like explicit directions on what not to do to get into danger and how you could be put, you know, turned into a sea cucumber, and you're like, should we? Nah, we're just gonna go over here and change this universe. It's like, all right, respect.
I don't even think that Jonesy is listening to him. Like, if you asked her to recite back anything that he said, I think she sees like the glasses and the lab coat and the brain just is like off. Like it's not engaging. That's my theory.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I think I would in Jonesy's situation, as high intensity as it is, he's boring in every dimension to Jonesy. So Jonesy would definitely zone out. Totally. Oh
Absolutely.
my God. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. It's been a lot of fun talking with you. Really, people, watch Davey and Jonesy's Locker. If you're in the States, watch it on Hulu. If you're in Canada, watch it on Prime Video because we want them to get a season 2. We want to see what dimensions they'll go to next. I want to know what happened to the mascot heads. It's going to happen. We got to make it happen. We got to watch it.
Nobody's going to see Bacon and Ham World unless we get a season 2.
That's right.
Please.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about, Jaelynn.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my
God.
You're going to, that's going to be a rough episode for you to shoot.
Yeah. So it'll make me forget about the beans at least. So
there you go.
There we go. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on, and we'd love to have you back again another time. It's been a delight talking with you, and we can't wait to see more from you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. This was so much fun. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I'll get to talk to you again soon.
There you go. Have a great night.
Thanks, Jaelynn.
Yes, you too. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.